4 different ways of graphing lines include using slope and y-intercept as one method, using a table of values as another method, using slope and a given point as a third method, or finding x and y-intercepts as a fourth method. In this example, we have the equation y equals 2 over 3x minus 8. And we're also given the information that this line passes through the point 9 and negative 2. So with that information, if we want to use slope and y-intercept, we can begin by looking at the equation y equals 2 over 3x minus 8. And realizing that our y-intercept, or b, is negative 8, and begin with that, the y-intercept. So here's negative 8. We're also given the slope, which is the value right in front of x. So the slope is 2 over 3. That means we're going to go up 2 and over 3 from one point to another on the graph. So if we started at the y-intercept here at 0 and negative 8, and we went up 2 and over 3, we'd be at this point. We go up 2 again, we go over 3 again. Here we are, up 2, over 3. We really only need to do that a couple of times if we've done it accurately in order to see that we have a straight line. So you want to connect your points. Now when you're connecting your points, if you find at any point with any of these methods that your points don't line up, and you've got a number of points that do line up, but there's one that's out of whack, that usually means you've made some sort of counting mistake or algebraic mistake. So that's what this line is going to look like. Using slope and y-intercept form, we were able to graph it. Now we could also graph this line by using a table of values. So with a table of values, you make a table. You need x values and you need y values. Now where do these come from? Well, you can choose the x values that you want. Typically, if you look back at your equation, it'll give you some hints, if you kind of look at it carefully, as to what would be some good x values to use. Because the slope is 2 over 3, we've got that 2/3 in front of the value of x that we're going to multiply by. So whatever number we have, we'll be multiplying it by 2 and dividing by 3. So if we pick multiples of 3, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to do the algebra. So if I choose, for example, negative 3, 0, 3, and 6 as my x values, watch what happens here. I replace x with negative 3 to find the y value. So negative 3 times 2 over 3 minus 8 will give me negative 10. Then here for x, if x is 0, 0 times 2 over 3 is 0, minus 8 is negative 8. If I take x as 3, 3 times 2 over 3 would give me 6 divided by 3, which gives me 2. And then when I subtract 8, I'm going to get, sorry, I just looked at the wrong there. So 2 over 3, I looked at the wrong thing on my sheet here and got distracted. So what did I say? 3 times 2 is 6, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 2 minus 8 is negative 6. So that's my next value. That should have been obvious because I've got a pattern going here of negative 10 and then negative 8. So I'm increasing by 2. So the next one, if x is 6, I can replace x here with 6, multiply it by 2, divide by 3, and then subtract 8, and I'll get negative 4. Now, as sort of a fun fact here, FYI, if you have a table of values, you can actually see the slope right from the table. So here, our y values are changing. They're going up by 2. So we have a rise of 2 each time. Our run over here is a change of positive 3. We're going up by 3 each time. So our slope is 2 over 3. You can see it from the table. So if you're ever given a table and asked to find the slope, you can get it from the table. All right, so that was just an aside. Let's get back to graphing. So if x is -3 and y is -10, we can plot that point right here, go back 3 and down 10. If x is 0 and y is -8, we go over 0 and down 8. If x is 3 and y is -6, we go over 3 and down 6. If x is 6 and y is -4, we go over 6 and down 4. All right, so let's connect those points with a straight line. And what we should find is that this line should look the same as the line that we found using slope and y-intercept. Great. All right, our next method is graphing using slope and a given point. So in this example, they told us that the line is going to go through 9 and -2. So we have the point. How about I spell correctly? That'd be helpful. Given 9 and -2 was that point. So we're going to go over 9 to the right and down 2. We know that's a point on our graph. Now we can use the slope. So we've got the given point. Now we can use the slope to help us finish graphing. So the slope is 2 over 3. So we can go up 2 and then over 3. So here if we went up 2 and over 3, well, see how our grid here isn't drawn really well? We don't have the line, and it makes it a little bit problematic. And then we can't keep going because we've run out of space if we go up 2 and over 3. It's going to be inaccurate. If you think about it, we could also write the slope this way. -2 over -3. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So if we went down 2 and back 3, that's the same thing as going up 2 and over 3. So we could think of it that way. We can go down 2 and over 3, down 2 and over 3, and join our points. So as I'm drawing the line here, remember you could always, now that you've got the line, check that by using the positive up 2 and over 3. So pick a point, go up 2 and over 3. All right, good. The last one that we're looking at is finding X and Y intercepts. When you're finding the X and Y intercepts to graph, you're just finding 2 points on the line and connecting them. So let's start with the one that's the easiest, the Y-intercept. Well, we know that if we have an equation in slope-intercept form, which we were given it in, the B value is the Y-intercept. So we can go to X being 0 and Y being -8 and plot that point on. So we've got 1 point. We've got the Y-intercept. Now, to find the X-intercept, all we need to do is take our equation, y equals 2 over 3x, and when we did the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0, so x was 0 here. So when we do the x-intercept, we're finding out that value when y is 0. So let's replace y with a 0 and solve for x. Add 8 to each side. Now we want to get x all by itself, so we have to multiply the right-hand side by 3, and then we have to multiply the left-hand side by 3 as well to keep it balanced. So we get 24 equals 2x. Then we divide each side by 2, and we get x equals 12. So when y equals 0, x is 12. And for the y-intercept, we have when x is 0, y is -8. So let's plot this point here. 12 and 0 is right there. We're going to draw our line to connect these points. And there we have it. 4 different ways to graph a line using slope and y-intercept, or table of values, or slope and a given point, or x and y intercepts.